I'm at work. It's May 29th. I'm just popping on here for a quick update. I had my telehealth appointment this morning at 9. Thankfully, Alex was able to join me. It was probably about an hour 15-ish. I met with a nurse practitioner first, just because she had to gather some extra information. I faxed her some lab results and stuff last night, so we had to make sure that was all set up so that when I did meet with the doctor / surgeon, he had all the information. So then I met with the surgeon, Dr. LaPerry, and yeah, I mean, it's so funny because I'm just like so used to doctors now. I'm so used to getting opinions. I'm so used to kind of hearing the same thing over and over, just different methods, different approaches, different vibes, I guess. So I'm just like, oh, this one was nice. This one was all right. This one, I'm just like, what am I even giving an opinion on? Like, at the end of the day, I just want a baby. Like, who's gonna make me pregnant? Everyone's qualified. Everyone's in the positions that they're in for a reason. So it's just like, and in a weird way, it feels like dating. Like I'm meeting with very similar people just at different clinics. And I'm like, okay, who's the best fit? Which I know is important. Definitely am not like taking away from that. You want to make the right decision with the right person so that you feel comfortable, especially with something as like big and sensitive as fertility and like making a child. But still, I'm just like hearing myself say it out loud. I'm like, here we go again, another doctor that I met with, another person to add to the list of who's a part of my journey. This is just not what I would have planned for myself. Anyways, so overall, the call went well. I mean, nothing earth-shattering, nothing groundbreaking, but I did like him. He was very nice, very understanding, didn't make me feel rushed. He was educational. He explained things in a very concise and clear way so that Alex and I could understand what he was talking about. But then at the end of the day, there still are pretty much the same options we've been facing since day one, which isn't a surprise. It's just like, it seems like we're still having to decide between IVF and IUI and trying naturally, and sort of like, it's still pretty much the same decisions that we just keep coming up against because nothing's been working. And it's like, but those are still our only options. It's just a matter of how we want to do the IVF and with who. Like, the root of the decision is still the same. And I don't know. I don't know what I'm waiting on. I wish God would literally just spell it out, because I don't know how else I'm personally gonna gain 100% clarity. And like, I could see how God would be using my infertility journey to cause me to rely and depend on him more, because with something like this, something that is so important to me and something that I personally feel like is a life-altering decision, like with a decision that big, like how can you not draw closer to God? How can you not rely on him every step of the way? And I feel like we've been doing that. I just feel like when it comes to making the actual decision and like literally signing the checks, you know, making the appointment for the surgery or IVF, which I feel like are just like really big commitments, I want the answer spelled out. And I've always felt that way. And I don't know if I'm just like delaying the process in hopes that I get that 100% clarity, or if God is like testing my faith in a way that's like, what are you gonna do if you don't get this clarity? Like, are you just gonna step in faith and make a decision either way and trust that I'm in the decision regardless of where you go, and trust that I'll redirect your steps if you're going the wrong way. Like, he's a loving father. I know he will do that. I know he will guide me, but I'm just like, because of all the waiting we've already gone through, because of, we're almost going on 3 years, I don't want to just keep moving in faith. That probably sounds terrible to say. I don't want to keep like guessing and just like hoping for the best and trusting God. Like, that's what I'm obviously going to continue to do. But it would be real nice at this point in the journey, after all this time, to just have some concrete clarity. And I don't know, maybe whenever I watch these videos back, I'll like see these little nuggets of clarity that I just like didn't realize it until I was out of the situation. Like, maybe I'm just too like clouded right now. Maybe it's obvious to you guys like where God is pulling me or what I should be doing. Like, maybe it just seems like I'm just trying to think of an excuse to avoid IVF. Like, I'm definitely being faced with some really hard stuff to look at myself in the mirror and really dig deep and be like, what is the root of this? Why am I delaying? Why am I feeling unsettled? Why do I want clarity so bad? Like, I don't think that's a wrong thing to want. Like, I don't think it's a bad thing at all to want God to literally just come down from heaven and tell me what to do, because I don't want to make the wrong decision. But also for Alex's sake, like, he doesn't want to wait any longer either. There's no option where I can just like literally sit and wait. I have to be productive in my waiting because I have to do my part. Like, I'm not going to get pregnant just by sitting here. So making a decision is inevitable. It's just like, which decision do I want to make and when do I want to make it? And it does, in a weird way, feel like I'm trying to take control of my life, and I know clearly that God is in control. So to be put in this position where like I have to make these moves, I just feel like it's like the opposite of waiting on the Lord, even though, like I said, I have to do my part. Like, I don't know, it's a weird like tug of war. So yeah, it's been a couple hours since my appointment. I literally just got off the phone with my mom a few minutes ago before I started recording so that I could update her. And of course, I'm still kind of like processing. Honestly, it's a good thing that like no one's at the church right now, because I just feel like I'm in a funky mood. It's just one of those days where I definitely have had the urge to cry over the past couple hours, but I'm like, I have to get some work done, which is fine. But then I have a meeting later and I'm just like, I really don't want to talk or be around people right now. So maybe I need to cry before the meeting so that I don't come across as this like weird moody girl later. Thank goodness I'm off tomorrow, then I can just like sit in my feels. Not that I feel like I have to fake it by any means, because thankfully my community and support system is a very safe space for me. It's just like sometimes like the support doesn't matter. I don't know. That probably sounds bad too. Like, no, support definitely makes a difference, but I'm like, it doesn't fix everything. Sometimes I do just want to be alone and cry and just like sit in my pain, and you know, my brain still knows everything's gonna be okay, you know. I just sometimes need to allow myself to just feel it all. Oh my gosh, what am I even saying? So essentially, our options are to do the surgery, which from the beginning, since meeting with this Jacksonville clinic, like, that was the whole purpose, was to go to them specifically for the laparoscopy, to find out for once and for all if I have endometriosis, and then to just remove it and move on. Because either way, IUI, IVF, trying naturally, whatever, it's all going to be impacted by this surgery. So that felt like a good place to start. But then after today's call and the doctor kind of giving us more options and reminding me that I still have a low AMH. I still have a low egg count, and there's nothing I can do about it, as much as I want to try. There's just nothing I can do, and that's a very real thing that I can't just keep ignoring and putting to the side for as long as I have. Not that I really have, but that's still my reality. So the longer I wait, obviously the less eggs I'm gonna have. Yes, it's a slow decline, but if I do have something like endometriosis, it can make my egg count decrease at a faster rate than like just your biological clock would. But now it's more about the timing of when I do the surgery, because even the doctor today was, confident that there's a 99% chance that I have endometriosis based on my low AMH, based on my biopsy last year, based on the fact that we've been trying for as long as we have, and I've been going through infertility. Like, all of those are underlying tells of someone with endometriosis. So I feel pretty confident about that. Okay, he's like the third person to basically tell me that I probably have it. So fine, great. That could be a possible answer to why we have been struggling for so long. But at the end of the day, now I have to tackle this other side, which is my low AMH, my low egg count. So it's like, I could do the surgery, great, and I could get pregnant naturally, or even get pregnant with IUI if we want to like expedite things and we don't want to go through the process of trying naturally and waiting several months to give that a go. Great. Let's say I get pregnant in the next few months after surgery. Well, I have to wait 9 months for pregnancy, the child's born, transition, adjusting, wait a couple years till my body's ready to try again. And now I retest my AMH and it's even lower. Obviously, it's common sense. Like, the longer I wait, the more years that go on, like, I'm gonna have lower eggs in the future than I do in this very moment. So it's like, what can I do about that? I can start the process of IVF, retrieve all the eggs that I can right now, because I'll never be younger and healthier than I am in this moment. Hopefully, on the first try we get a good amount, like, because then within just that process, things might not work on the first try. You might not get enough eggs on the first try. Like, that could even take a few months, potentially. Then we do the surgery. That way we know my body is clear of inflammation. Then we move forward with the rest of IVF and do the transfer. But again, I still have a low AMH. So the amount of eggs that I might retrieve might be lesser than the average woman. And then the amount of embryos that we end up getting might be even lesser because we're starting with a lesser amount of eggs. So just, again, all those things to keep in mind too. And in an ideal situation, I have at least a few healthy embryos that are ready to transfer. So we can transfer at least one. But the risk with that is maybe I have no embryos. Or maybe I just get 1 or 2. And then you're really just banking on those sticking, because then you have that whole process to go through of, after the transfer, do they stick? My body's never been pregnant before, so I don't know how it's going to react. I don't know how it's going to respond on the first time. And a lot of women have to do multiple cycles in order to have a successful pregnancy, just as a healthy person in general. So the fact that I'm already in my 30s, I already have a low AMH, who knows what my chances are of being successful on the first try. But anyways, hopefully it sticks on the first try, and there you go. And then, hopefully I have some embryos for the future that I can use when we try to get pregnant again, because we want to have multiple kids. I feel like choosing IVF right now is like committing to a lifelong decision. I don't know how else to explain that. Because if I do IVF now, when we get embryos, like, I'm committed to now using all those embryos, because those are my future kids. Like, I'm not going to let them go to waste. So then that means I am mentally agreeing to do multiple IVF rounds over the course of however many years it takes to use all those embryos. And then also, like, if that's just what my body needs and we do want multiple kids, and let's say I only get 1 embryo each time, like, I'm committed to seeing it through and making it work no matter how many cycles, right? Like, and if we go, straight to the surgery route, try naturally or do IUI, and I get pregnant, and we try for baby number 2 or baby number 3, I might have to end up doing IVF anyways, because I'll be older then and I'll have even less eggs then, and my jacket just fell off. I gotta go, guys. I have to go. I have lunch to eat. I have work to still get done before my meeting. It's just very complex. There's so many mini decisions and so many mini risks within like the bigger risks. So yeah, I don't know what's the best route to go. I mean, on paper, I feel like logic says to take advantage of the fact that I'm younger and healthier now, get the best eggs that I can to have the best chances of getting as many as I can and getting the healthy ones so that hopefully we do get a few, at least one good embryo to use for the transfer. Save that, freeze that, then do the surgery because that's inevitable. And then when I'm healed and ready to go, do the transfer. I just feel like that's what logic says. And then ideally I have a few embryos still in the bank to use for future kids. That way, when we do want to try for baby number 2 or Lord willing baby number 3, I don't have to worry about my egg count. I don't have to worry about my egg quality or my age because I have these embryos that were banked at a time where I was healthier, where I was younger, and I did have more eggs. So great. Thank you, logic. But emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually, what do all those things tell me? And trying to listen to God above all, do you see why I just want him to spell it out in the clouds for me? Faith contradicts logic sometimes. Miracles happen. Just look in the Bible. Logic says, don't build an ark in the middle of this desert, in the middle of this drought. What do you mean there's a huge flood coming? You're crazy. Faith says, build the ark and trust what God said. And sure enough, faith was right. That's where logic was wrong. So I'm very aware that logic cannot be the best route for me right now. But how am I supposed to make those huge decisions on my own? How am I supposed to decide my future while being in the present? Like, I don't know how my body's going to respond to the surgery. I don't know how my body's going to respond to IVF and egg retrievals and transfers and like this is unlike anything else I've ever had to deal with. And I know that's good. I know that means it's going to push me and challenge me like it already has. But I'm just like, for how much longer? How long am I going to deal with this? It's so hard not knowing and then not having that 100% clarity from the Lord that I feel like I really, really need. And maybe he's given me that clarity and I've just been missing it. So then I pray that God gives me the eyes to see it. I can't really wait any longer. Like, these decisions need to be made. Especially when everything revolves around your cycle too. Like, you can't just say, okay, I'm gonna do IVF, let's start tomorrow. Okay, I want the surgery, can you get me in next week? Like, no, it's like, okay, well, when was your last period? Like, what day of your cycle are you on? Because it all revolves around that. This is what I'm dealing with. So if you're out there and you're going through the same thing, please let me know, because it is lonely out here. It is confusing. It's filled with pressure. It's filled with decisions. It's filled with risks. It's filled with lots of waiting, and no one gets it. And good, I don't want them to get it, because then that means they'd be in my same shoes, and I really don't want anyone to experience this. But also, if you are experiencing it, let's go through it together, because it's a rough world out there. Clearly, I still have a lot to process. But that was it. Just more decisions, more of the same. Still waiting, still praying, still trusting, hoping for the best, and still very much so desiring a child. So that hasn't changed, and that's like the one thing that's been motivating me to make all these decisions and to go through all this stuff, because that's how deep of a desire that this is for Alex and I. Like, if I was on the fence about having kids, or, you know, didn't really care, like, yeah, that would make this whole thing easier. I would just say, well, this is my sign to not have children. But my faith goes deeper. My faith goes deeper, and I believe what the word says when the Lord himself says that he'll give me the desires of my heart if I delight myself in him. And that's all we've been doing with this journey. I mean, how could I do it without him? This is a good desire. This is a godly desire. And I've had trusted sources affirm that over and over again. God has not made it clear to me that he doesn't want me to be a mom. I mean, I have to be open to that, of course, because this is God's story, not mine. But I definitely still feel that desire getting stronger and stronger. And so I won't give up. I won't give up for my future kids out there. If you're watching, whenever you're watching, I believe you exist. To think that, like, God could also love my future kids enough to where he would want to work on Alex and I now so that they can reap the blessings of who we are becoming and who we will be as parents by the time they enter the world. And to think that God cares about them so much more than I do, and they don't even exist yet. And to think how much he loves them enough to let this also be a part of their story and their testimony, and hopefully be a tool that strengthens their faith. Like, it's just crazy how big our God is and how he can work that way. And just the honor of hopefully being a part of my future kids' testimony, and hopefully be something that they also grow up and talk about and remember and can think back on. Oh my gosh, remember when mom and dad were trying, and look at their faith and look what they went through. And to think that we could be influencing them now before they're even on this planet, and that God is so detailed that he would just orchestrate all of that. It just overwhelms my mind of, like, truly how big and powerful and perfect our God is. And it just makes me more excited. It's things like that that I'm like, okay, how can I give up now? Like, the story is just getting good, right? Like, I thought it was good yesterday, but like every little hurdle, every little thing that comes our way, it just adds to the story. It adds to the testimony. And God's gonna get all the glory. He's getting the glory now, but just imagine the celebration at the end of all this. And hopefully how many more people will be inspired by this story and have their faith strengthened, all because of this. All because of this. That's what I'm hoping and praying for. And I know God is big enough to do that, and he will do that. So thanking him in advance and thinking of that bigger picture, like, that motivates me to push through and inspires me to keep going, because I want to see how this story turns out. So yeah, I need to go. I have a meeting in like 45 minutes. So that's all I got to say. Thank you for tuning in, and maybe God will bring some clarity tonight or through the weekend, because I don't want to delay this decision or this process any longer. And this is the last week of our holistic fertility program, so decisions need to be made. So just pray. Pray for me if you think about me. Pray that clarity comes. Okay, well, until next time. Bye for now.